All right, Martin. How are you?
Good.
How are you feeling?
Pretty good. There was a chance that the government could have put me in jail for 10 years and fined me $20 million, but
Hmm.
right now I'm looking at 0 to 6 months. So
Really?
0 to 6 months and no fine?
Is it
that's right.
is that 0 to 6 in prison or house arrest?
I think that that's going to be up to the judge, but by the book, it's 0 to 6 months. So
Okay, so you were kind of seeing it as a win, and the media is kind of being like, "Oh, he's guilty," but you got off like you kind of got off.
yeah, there were 8 charges. The most serious charge was count 7. The jury voted not guilty.
Which one was that?
It was this crazy idea that I stole from my own company to pay back my investors, which I don't know how it makes any sense, but they tried. I think they were just hoping that people were like, "Oh, that's Pharma, bro. He's guilty, whatever."
Right.
And that didn't work. So I'm pretty happy, but I got to tell you, it was the most nerve-wracking thing because the jury started out with, on count 1, the jury finds him not guilty, and I'm like smiling. I'm like, all right, we're gonna win. Count 2, not guilty, and then count 3, she's like, "Well, they found you guilty on this one." So it was like
She said that?
No, it was.
She was like, "Well, yeah, I got you guilty on this one."
It was something like that. She was like, guilty.
So the
And,
the ones you were found guilty on, I mean, did you do it?
No, I don't think so. It's subjective. Basically, the question is, did you do it with an intent? Did you do it with an intent to steal? And I made $31,000 over 4 years running those hedge funds, and the investors made 3 or 4 times their money. So it just doesn't seem to me like that's the kind of criminal intent that if I had criminal intent, I would have stolen the money.
Well, Martin,
tripled their money. So
Martin, did you ever lie to these guys?
that's the question. And it's still about intent, right? So I don't think I lied at all. But even if there was a lie, the question is, did the person have an intent? And I don't know, man. I don't have criminal intent. That's just my
Right, you're sleeping on the floor to get the job done.
Yeah, it's the average person who has criminal intent to steal money. They're buying Maseratis. They're hanging out with girls that look like, what's her name again?
Buying Wu-Tang albums for $1 million.
Well, that happened many years later.
By the way, whatever happened with that? Did you ever release that to the masses?
No, but I'm happy to give you a copy.
Really?
What?
Wow.
Sure.
Holy smokes!
Yo, hook me up. Hook
That's-
me up when you get that shit.
So
Listening session on the next podcast.
yeah, how is the album, by the way? Is it good?
I'll send it to you and you can be the judge.
Holy flip!
My thought on the album was not to like stunt on everyone and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm like super rich." I kind of felt bad for them because they were like, usually a Wu-Tang album would sell like $10 million of records, and the fact that they could buy it for $2 million was like, and that was happy. That was a great outcome for them. Like, I'm almost like, these guys are legends,
I felt the same way. I'm really surprised that it almost doesn't make sense. Why would they sell it for so low money? Surely they would have made more selling it online to consumers, right?
Well, their last album only sold 50,000 copies, and at $10 a pop, it's 500 grand. So,
Oh, really?
Sheesh, what happened?
Jesus.
music's, I don't know.
People don't
they're
buy
on my
music
age
anymore.
group, so I thought I'd help them out a little bit.
But why did you like hold it so close to the chest for so long?
I actually would love to release it. They don't want me to release it. So
Well, isn't there like an 800-year
that's-
limit
Yeah.
or something like that? Like
Yeah,
you can't release for
I can't
800
release
years.
for 88 years.
88 years.
Wait, the person who
What?
buys it can't release it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fucked up because everyone was shitting on you.
Yeah, I can't release. I tried to leak it, and they fucking called me, and they're like, "Better not fucking leak anymore."
Oh.
I'm like, "All right, guys. All right."
Why on earth would they not want people
I think
to
it's
listen
the
to music?
RZA. It was the RZA doing something artistic and like, I want my music to be a piece of art, and I want it to go in an auction like a painting would.
But then
And,
nobody else.
Like I
can
think
listen.
like you like he wanted the people to have to go to a museum and go to listen to it and stuff like that. I think that was like
Got
the
it,
intent of
got
it.
After 88 years.
In general, just when it came out. Like he was hoping some artist or some art gallery would buy it and put it in their art gallery, and if you want to go listen to it, you got to go there and listen to it.
Martin, what are the chances Raekwon and Method Man are going to kick your door down when you're away for 0 to 6 months and
Bill
take
Murray.
that shit back?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll be 0, but in 6 months, there's no guarantee they.
Yeah, you gonna have a guy just waiting in like with a samurai sword ready to do fucking battle.
I should totally like put it in like a Tibetan mountain and like have a dude with a
Make
have,
some
like, five
treasure
monks
map.
guard it, and if you can kill them, then you get the album.
Yo, if you do that, live log it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd love
man.
to be a part of that in any way.
Yeah.
We can set up camp. We can help produce that. Well,
Is the ODB on the album?
He is.
Oh shit!
what?
That raises the you actually got away for $1 million. That's pretty good for some unreleased ODB.
Yeah.
I just
So
really
what would
wanna
you- how
hear it.
much? Let me ask you guys a crazy question. If you could make $100 million, but you had to go to jail, how much time would you do?
Is this related to your situation?
Oh, totally unrelated.
Because you just said you made $30,000, and I feel like your answer was sarcastic.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit of
It seems a
intent
little
now.
bit of a
in what
loaded,
you're-
yeah. It smells
This
like-
hypothetical situation seems to have intent.
How much time would you do?
I mean,
That's hard.
For how much?
100 million.
100 million?
If I
I
could,
would
wait, what
do-
is the
I
question
would
again?
do a year.
What are you, fucking Tony
I would do a
Soprano?
year.
for $100 million, how much time would you do? He asked.
Just money? How much time would I do?
Yeah,
Am I like?
the orange is the new black.
Is it on the expense of people?
Yeah, who suffers? Are you
Right.
just
Yeah.
talk-
That's-
is it
yeah,
just
you
a
need to know
straight up like,
context.
hey, serve a year, here's a bunch of money?
Nobody suffers.
What would you do?
I would do a year.
What would you do?
I would do a year.
What
for
would you do?
100
0 to 30?
I would do 0 to 30 days.
Why are you asking this, Martin?
I'm just curious because I asked a friend, like my lawyers especially, I said, so even if you assume I'm guilty, which I'm not, I'm coming out of this with over $100 million. And like I asked my lawyer, I said,
Well, don't boast.
how much time would you do for the same? And he said, if you're talking about minimum federal prison camp where you're probably going to go, he's like 2 years. I would do 2 years.
So you think you did a good exchange here?
Martin, you think you're
I
going to
don't
come out of there
think it would
jacked?
change, but every time you do business, you take a risk. And every time you're an asshole like me, you take an even bigger risk. And, you know, net, if I look at it all and say like, hey, was the last 5 years of my life worth it?
Hmm.
I don't know, man. It seems like not bad.
Are you talking 100 million pre-tax or post-tax?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm talking about your money.
Like it's maybe overseas and, you know,
Oh God,
It's a
he
little
doesn't
here,
even
a
pay
little there,
taxes.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
What is it that people misunderstand about you? Because you have like two parts of you. Like when I hear you now or during your live stream, you seem like a pretty reasonable, down-to-earth guy. But there's also this kind of, I mean, there is also a little bit of a sociopathic vibe that I get when I see you smiling like a maniac and talking about making $100 million in exchange for going to prison. Like, is there something like, where's the truth lie?
I don't know, I'm not a sociopathic maniac at all, but you know, I mean, sometimes you have to look at things holistically. Like,
That's what a
You
sociopathic
saw-
maniac would say.
well, if you sum up the last 5 years of my life, the outcome is I've made an enormous amount of money, and I also have to go to prison. The two aren't real. I'm not connecting the two in any way. The question is, you know, is that a series of outcomes? Like, if you just made no money and you went to prison for 20 years, that would suck.
I think
Right.
the court connected them, though.
If you made $100 million and you never had to go to prison, that'd be kind of awesome. If you
Right.
do both, where does it shake out? That's sort of the question, you know?
It's strange that like in your head, money and prison are in bed together somehow. That it's like,
It's just the notable parts of my life. That's all.
Okay.
You know, if I were made a hit album, you know, I'd put that on the list. But that's basically what the last 5 years of my life has summed up to.
right.
Martin,
But
what are your a big part of like I saw that Vice interview with you where the reporter came with you and you
The
guys played
female.
chess
Yeah,
and
I
you
saw
drank some
that.
good wine and you had a really interesting point where you were like, you know, in a way you're kind of exposing what these other companies do because there is a great amount of much worse than anything someone could accuse you of doing happening in other companies that
Right.
is just like completely swept under the rug. Is that still a message that you're putting out there?
I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about the pharmaceutical industry. I've had so many friends die of diseases. I have friends now that are dying of those diseases, and a vape is not going to fix them. Fortunately,
A vape?
there's vape is the drug industry makes great medicines for these kids, and they have to keep doing that. And it's a money driven business for sure, but I think it's a good business. So I don't have anything bad to say about the drug business at all. I would defend.
What
it
about the
if-
people in the drug business?
Well, you know, I think most of them are pretty well-meaning. I think they want to create medicines that change diseases like
Dude's a
cystic
fucking
fibrosis,
clone. He's a clone.
which is sort of, yeah.
You feel like you're just like a kind of an easy target after that big story broke about you the first time, and now everyone's just out for blood to kind of be like, "Hey, we got one of them."
Yeah, absolutely. But I also love to troll. I mean, there's nothing more fun than to make up something ridiculous and then watch people believe it and watch them tie themselves in knots over it. It's so satisfying. I think you know that yourself. With something like Humongous, I've become like every day of my life is that dude, and
Wow.
it's awesome. Like I love triggering people. It's fantastic, and medicine is something I'm very passionate. It's my life's work. So when people started calling me Pharma Bro and they thought that I was doing all this terrible stuff, I just sort of took it in stride and said, yeah, absolutely, I'm a villain. I'm totally a villain, and just sort of ran with it. And nobody's ever stopped and said, yeah, that's not true. It sort of still persists. And
is that how you wanted to be seen though? Like, did you ever want to be seen as like the pharma hero?
I think time will tell. There are people that were totally discussed, hated, and people were disgusted by people like Bill Gates even, and now everyone thinks he's the greatest guy ever. But for a while, he was a swashbuckling capitalist monopolist that put out of business all of his competitors.
You just got to start a charity.
Yeah, now he's a charity guy. But when he was my age, he was fucking just trying to destroy every software company.
What's Martin Shkreli's malaria gonna be?
Yeah.
I already made one drug for a rare disease called pecan that seems to cure it.
So Bill Gates gave away, or he's like giving away like billions of dollars to a nonprofit.
Yes. He hasn't invented any medicines. I have.
Yeah, but that's an enterprise.
Yeah,
that's like saying Bill Gates made software, and so he's a saint. I mean, you're running a business.
Yeah, he made his fortune in software, and he's donating it now to all sorts of great causes, and he should be commended. All I'm saying is that while he's making his fortune, people made fun of his haircut.
I agree.
Made fun of the way he made his money. The government tried to call him a criminal. They had these big antitrust hearings where they almost brought criminal charges on Microsoft, and now he's lauded as a hero. So I think time will tell. I'm going to make as many great drugs as I can, and I'm going to try to make as much money as I can in the meantime.
I want to hear about that night where
I have a long ways to go, and I'm so glad that these charges are not going to set me back in any way, which was my big fear.
I want to hear about the night where the news first came out, where you raised the price of Daraprim. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
You raised the price of it, and that night, a lot of news came out, and people were tweeting you, and you jumped onto Twitter, and you were responding to people. But your responses were, like you were saying, like sort of the trolling, triggering kind of thing. Do you think that maybe that might have been the incendiary action that caused what people thought of your character?
Oh, no doubt about it. I don't think I would have been indicted in a criminal trial if you had
handled that differently and maybe been, because you were also like after that you went on the record explaining exactly what you did and you changed a lot of people's minds. Don't you think if you had done that right off the bat?
I tried though. I really did, and I think the response was so weird that the only reaction I could have at the time was to troll back. And
that was the night we talked. Do you remember my video of you?
Yeah.
You called me a YouTube comedian. I think I made fun of you for not being able to like reach the tall shelf at the grocery store or something like that.
A lot of people made fun of me in the last few years.
It was the night to do it, Martin. It was the night to do it.
No, I don't know. I'm hoping that over time the record will be clear, and a lot of people don't understand when 50 people. Go ahead,
Martin. I'll always remember you for that Harambe report you did. No matter whatever charities you do, whatever you go out, whatever the government throws at you, I will always remember you for that Harambe piece you did on the news.
Gone but not forgotten.
Also, you always doing streams. Like you're always on stream, and it's like you sitting like by yourself. You seem kind of lonely. Are you lonely? Like you're sitting in a room by yourself, and it's like you're talking to these random people on the internet. It's just like the guy's got $100 million, a Wu-Tang album, and he's just sitting in a room by himself. And I'm like, this guy seems kind of lonely.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like that. Like, becoming wealthy hasn't changed the personality I've had, which is always kind of a loner. What can I say? You know, that's who I am. I like to work. I like to troll around on my computer. I have a bunch of chicks. You know, this celebrity is sort of brought a lot of women into-
I was just remembering. I was looking at your followers on Twitter, the people who you follow, and 90% of them were like cam girls.
No,
I swear to God, dude.
No
Let's
way.
go to the tapes.
No, I swear to God, I was looking through your followers, and they're all like cam girls and like these kind of.
Bullshit.
Martin,
There's one chick
did
who's-
did you get laid
No.
because people got mad at you for raising the price of a drug?
I think there's people that sort of, I don't know why women would want to sleep with me. I have no idea, but
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue.
I would imagine part of it is
The 100 million?
the money, and
Yeah.
then, but like, it's not like they're not getting it. Like, that's
Yeah,
not,
I know, but they like to be treated.
You sit them down, you give them some nice wine, play a good game of
Yeah,
chess,
and
and then
then
next thing you know, they're your wife.
I think a lot of them have delusions like I'm gonna marry him and get half.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
does anyone ever role play with you? Like sell me some fucking farms and raise the price on me, baby.
Heal
You ever
my
get anywhere shit like that?
toxoplasmosis,
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Any- Oh, that's a shame.
That
You
would
should
be a
try
red
that. That
flag,
would be
though.
a good troll. Next time you're with the girl, hey, will you role play that I just raised the price of this drug by 5,000%? All right, I think that's all we have for today.
Martin, thank you so
That
much.
was really
man.
fun. I really appreciate you jumping on. That was really a cool conversation. I appreciate it a lot.